Right, I'm going to start off. Okay, folks, thank you for being on here. I'm going to kick off our presentation. As I was chatting here with Leonid, there's an opportunity for questions at the end. Feel free, I'll take as much time as you need. But to kick off here, I'm going to share my screen and chat about what we are going to cover here today. Okay, hopefully you can see this. Okay. So, a little bit of history of our company and products so you get an understanding of who we are and what it is that we do. Our company, CoatZone, is headquartered in Houston, Texas. I'm the CEO. I happen to live here in Hawaii because we do business all over the world. We do business here in the United States, Mexico, Canada, Colombia, Mexico, uh, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, India, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. So literally all over the world. Between myself and the other partner who created these products, we have over 50 years of experience in HVAC and energy. During that last 17 years since we opened up our coating center in Houston, we've treated now well over 250,000 units. We do factory direct work for all the major manufacturers, Carrier, Trane, Daikin, York, Lennox, etc., etc. Our products are all made in the USA. One is made in Houston, one is made in Nebraska, and all of our products have gone through very intense independent certification, ASTM, ISO, and UL testing. So we're going to look at the three different products that we have. The first product is called Coil Safe. It is a two-part product. We use it for protecting coils of air conditioning, but as you'll hear, there's a lot of other applications that it can be used for. It's a two-part product that we mix for 45 minutes. And then once we mix it, we put it into what's called a dual gauge pressure pot. If we are applying it for coil protection, the coil of an air conditioning unit, this is the unit that we would use. If it's for other purposes, which I'll talk about in a moment, you don't need this equipment. But if it's pertaining to air conditioning, this is the equipment that you need. Why do you need this equipment? If you have a very thick coil that's 4 or 5 rows thick, a wet spray will never get through that coil. So what this pot does is atomizes the product so it comes out like a fog. You can see it here coming out the back end. So we'll spray from the outside in, the inside out to ensure that we cover everything within that unit. Now, one of the beauties of what we do is we never ever break the refrigerant line, break any solder joints. We simply remove panels, and in this case, it would be the panels on the side and the fan on the top. So the manufacturers love us because they know we do not in any way jeopardize their warranty. In fact, we're helping them in terms of the warranty on the coil. So once we spray it like this and it cures, you have a perfect protection against corrosion. Now, there are many, many different coatings that are out there that are used for coils. How do we differ? Well, first of all, whenever we apply the product, it adheres via a covalent bond. What that means is the product actually shares an electron and becomes part of the metal. Now, most of the other products that are out there are basically epoxy or polyurethane, so they are a paint. And the problem with any paint is it will chip and peel. And once you get the slightest little chip, that corrosion is going to run underneath. Because of our covalent bond, it will not chip or peel. If you want to take it off, you have to aggressively sand it off. Even a blowtorch will not remove it. It will withstand up to 1000 F. So it's very, 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 very durable product. Secondly, it goes on only 8 microns. Most of the other coatings out there go on anywhere from 50 to 100 microns. If you put that thick of a coating on a coil, The whole purpose of a coil in an air conditioning unit is to transfer heat. If you put that thick of a coating on, you're going to reduce the ability to transfer heat. Therefore, you're going to lower the efficiency of the unit by 5 to 7%. Why buy a high efficiency unit to then coat it and reduce the efficiency? We have zero effect on the efficiency. Because it's a spray-on product, we can treat new units, but we can also treat units that have been out there for quite a few years. We just did Bentab Hospital, the largest public hospital in Houston. These were 40-year-old air handlers that were being refurbished. We were able to treat them in place in a live working hospital because we have a spray approach as opposed to dip and bake, which is what most of the other coatings are. They take the coil out, they dip it in a vat, they bake it in an oven. The other big advantage of what we do is we coat everything. So the exposed copper, the header, the flywheel, everything inside that HVAC unit, we coat whenever we actually do the application. Our product is also antimicrobial, which is very, very important and becoming more and more important. We had a Zoom call 2 days ago with a group that deals exclusively with hospitals, and they said indoor air quality and protecting people is becoming a bigger and bigger priority. So, being antimicrobial, nothing can grow in this environment. It's inorganic. So I'll give you an example. Many of the major manufacturers, especially towards the East Coast, where they're now using foam insulation, the coils in those air conditioning units are failing within a year. Why? Because that foam off gases and it's very, very, very corrosive. All those companies now come to us with their warranty claims for us to coat their coil because once you have that corrosion, there's nothing you can do with or bacteria or corrosion in this case. Once you coat with our product, we eliminate that problem. You will not get that corrosion. Same thing if you're in an environment where you're moving from heating to cooling, cooling to heating. What happens is you tend to get bacteria that will die, and you get a thing called dirty sock syndrome. It's a horrible smell that comes from your air conditioning unit. And no matter what cleaner you use, you will not get it out of there. You have to replace the coil. Those coils all now come to us for our coating because with our coating, that can never happen. We give a 10-year warranty on the product. Most companies only give 3 to 5 years. And if you happen to be dealing with medical facilities, all medical facilities by law have to use UVC lamps. Any other coating under long-term exposure to UVC will break down and actually go soft. Our product has been tested against UVC with zero effect whatsoever. So very, very durable, very, very effective. People ask, well, will your product work in any environment? We have pretty much done every environment you could think of. Here's an example of an offshore rig. This was actually done during COVID, where the everything on that rig had been destroyed by the hurricane. Daikin had to put these units in place without sending them to our coating center. Our team went there, spent 3 days, coated those units, everything. That was 6 years ago. In an offshore rig, those units are still in good working condition. Another great live, real life example is this. This is Kroger grocery store. It sits on Galveston Bay, which is the most corrosive area in the United States. And Kroger installed 6 what we call refrigeration condenser units on their roof. 5 of them we coated. One they accidentally forgot to get coated. After only 3 years of oceanfront exposure, there is the uncoated unit, totally destroyed by the corrosion. Sitting a few feet away is our coated coil, zero corrosion whatsoever. That is a real life example. They had to replace this coil. We actually treated it for free as goodwill for Kroger. So an extremely, extremely durable. In terms of preventing corrosion, there's nothing better. We even now coat circuit boards, PCBs, with the same product. Daikin came to us and they had a problem with these circuit boards rusting out. We basically seal off the connector points. We use Play-Doh to seal off the connector points. We coat the board, let it cure, and now you've got perfect protection against corrosion or insect penetration. Like here in Hawaii, we have the little geckos. They'll short out the board. This will protect the board. So that's the primary purpose that we developed CoilSafe for. But now there are so many other applications. It's pretty much endless. Any piece of metal that you want to protect from corrosion, this is the perfect product. We are using it for metal structures. We're using it for electronic boxes where they're concerned about corrosion. There's just so many applications. I was explaining before I started the presentation, I met with a group yesterday, and they were interested in using our product as an alternative for a finish on a car. A, because it still gives that glossy finish. B, it's extremely durable and it prevents corrosion. They actually did their own testing. They took a part of a car, they coated it with CoilSafe, they threw it down by the ocean because they happen to live by the ocean. They actually poured salt water on it every day. They threw dirt on it. They left it sitting there for weeks, and then they went to wash it off, washed it off, zero effect. Then they took battery acid, they poured battery acid on it, left it on there for 24 hours, washed it off, zero effect. This is a phenomenal product in terms of resisting corrosion on virtually anything that is metal that is out there. So there are many different applications. I always say to people, look, buy a quart kit, mix it, and try it yourself. If you're not using it on a coil, you can simply use a sponge brush to paint onto a metal surface. It's very, very easy. Whenever this person did the car, they actually just used a regular little sprayer to spray it onto the car. So there are many, many different applications. I was asked a few weeks ago if you put it on the bottom of a car whenever you're on the East Coast where there's snow and they're salting the roads, will it protect the chassis? Absolutely, it would. With the product, there is a good profit margin. Now, there's several different ways to make money with the product. You can go and do work yourself where you can get a customer, and it's pretty easy to apply it if you're applying it to a structure. Or you could bring in an HVAC contractor because most contractors aren't even aware of our product. They don't know it exists. They've heard of some of the other coatings, and if they're sort of forced to put a coating on a product, they'll use it. This product here is a differentiator. If a dealer, like an HVAC contractor, gets this product, it can set them apart from their competition because that business is highly competitive. Normally, if I'm going in with a Daikin or I'm going in with a Carrier, it's all boiling down to price. Now, if that person can go in and say, well, I'm going to give you a coating as well, which is a negligible cost to them compared with the cost of the equipment. I'm going to give you the coating. What's that coating going to do for you? It's going to prevent corrosion. It's going to prevent any type of microbial contamination. It's going to extend the life of your unit, and it's going to make maintenance easier. I'm throwing that in compared with the other guy. Suddenly, they have a huge advantage, which is why they should be looking at using CoilSafe. So there are many opportunities as an affiliate or bringing on an authorized or preferred HVAC contractor. Second product, this product here, we've just got so much interest now in this, mainly from the medical industry. Whenever COVID came along, we already do a lot with hospitals. One of our big customers is Bremerton Naval Hospital up in Washington State. They've been using our coil safe product for 10 years or more. COVID came along, they said, guys, could you enhance the product to where instead of preventing the growth of bacteria, etc., could you enhance it to where it would actually attack and kill the virus? We said, that's a tall order, but let's work on it. So my business partner, Russell, he worked with our chemist. We ended up adding a silver ion nanoparticle to this product and created CoilSafe Plus. We sent it out for ISO testing, 99.5% kill rate on bacteria, 99.8% kill rate against live COVID SARS-2, COVID-19. Now, for all the indoor coils, the evaporator coils for hospitals, government buildings, and schools, this is what we're putting on the coil to ensure that that surface is protected. If anything lands there, it's going to get killed. We've also used it during COVID for surfaces like door handles, grab rails, elevator panels, things that people touch a lot and they were paranoid about getting COVID. Well, if you want to protect your home and make sure it's pretty much germ-free, this is a product that you can use. I mean, it is a fact. Silver ion has a half-life of 20 years. You put this thing on your door handle as long as the product remains on the door handle, which it will because of the covalent bond, you've got protection for the duration of that product being there. Again, with this product, it's slightly more expensive, but actually not much more. It's only about 20 bucks more per quart, the same opportunity. And let me tell you, we met with this medical group a couple of days ago. They were blown away. They have tried HEPA filters, UVC lamps, negative ions, all this stuff, which is very expensive and has to constantly be replaced. You use a UVC lamp, it's going to blow out in a year. This is a one-time, once and done. You put the treatment on there and it's a permanent treatment protecting that coil from any type of contamination. Now, moving on to our third product, which is maybe even more exciting. And I'm going to share some stories with this. It's called Thermal Block and it comes in a 5-gallon bucket. You basically stir it, you can brush it, roll it, or spray it. It starts off as a water-based acrylic, but it's got about 37 different compounds in the product. So, what is thermal block and why is it different? So, everyone is pretty familiar in the trades of what insulation is. Insulation is something you put on a roof or a building or on an HVAC or wherever, ductwork, to prevent heat going through. So what that does is normally whenever you have like insulation in an air conditioning unit, it's an R4, R6. And what that R stands for is how long it will withstand the heat before it will let it pass through. It's a bit like a sponge. If you put a sponge on a table and you pour water, initially you're not going to see any water because the sponge will absorb it. But you pour enough water, eventually the water's going to shoot out. So that's what insulation does. It resists heat. What this product does, it rejects heat. It will not let heat load onto a surface. It rejects, won't let it heat, it won't let it load. The biggest problem we have is you couldn't get an R value for a coating. So we went to the biggest lab in the world, Intertech Labs, and we said, what's the test that we need to do to verify what we're saying? They said it's called a solar heat gain coefficient test. They use it for doors and windows. We prepared samples. We sent it off to their lab in Fresno, California, their solar lab in Fresno, California. They did their testing and they verified we reject 93% of solar heat gain. 93% is what we reject. So rather than resisting heat, we're rejecting heat. So what do we use it for? There's a multitude of applications which I'm going to walk you through. This picture you see here is a good example. This was a job we did in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. We met with Johnson Controls, one of the biggest energy related companies in the world. And they said, before we will even look at your products, you come and you prove that it works. So this was their sales building in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. They had as you'll see here, what this is, it's about a 12-ton package unit and some associated ductwork. We coated the coil, we coated the cabinet, and we coated the ductwork. Before we coated it, you couldn't even put your hand near that unit. After we coated it, every executive in that building came up, put their hand on the unit, it felt cold. And they said, this is magic. We can't even believe this can happen. So what they then did was they put a data logger on this unit and they data logged for 24 hours after we coded it. They data logged beforehand as well. And they verified in those first 24 hours, we had a 12.7% energy savings and an ROI of way less than 24 months. Had they kept the data logger on, it would have actually got bigger because it takes about 2 days for the product to fully cure. So that's just one example. I'm going to show you some other examples and then give you some even more recent ones that we've done. An application that we've done a lot of is where you have a metal roof. This was in the Philippines, a place called Laguna, for a company called Rome Industries, they're a semiconductor company. They wanted to test the product on their engineer's metal roof at his home. It was a 32C day. Now, they're in C, obviously, 32C, what's that? 650, it's about 80 something degrees. But the actual roof was 67C. That roof is so hot you couldn't touch it. We coated it, and 15 minutes later, we dropped it to 49C. That's almost a 20C. That's 60, what, 65, 70 difference in temperature by just coating it. And this will blow you away. Here's the engineer on his bare feet on that metal roof after we coated it because it actually feels cool. So pretty amazing. So if you get any low-rise building with, and if it's a metal roof or a cement roof, doesn't really matter, and you coat it with our product, for any low-rise building, about 40% of the load is coming from the solar gain on that roof. If you can eliminate 90%, 93% of that, you're going to lower the cooling requirements inside the building. So either you lower their energy bill or you reduce the size of equipment that they would need to cool the building. Either one is a massive savings. And everywhere we have gone, no matter what country it was, we've been able to get a 24-month or less ROI. This next one, this is in the US. This is San Antonio, Texas. Believe it or not, this is a hospital called Kindred Hospital in San Antonio, Texas. They had 5,000 lineal feet of ductwork. And what happens everywhere in the world, it's the same story over and over. The insulation on that ductwork will eventually fail because of moisture content. And as you can see, this is a mess. Hard to believe this is a hospital. It's disgusting. I mean, our guys stripped off all this field insulation, sealed any rust spots or leaks. They were losing 14 degrees from the unit to the building, almost half their cooling. We stripped everything off, and all we did, we coated it straight onto the metal with our thermal block. And we dropped that loss from 14 degrees to 3 degrees. But equally important, what we're doing, we're not only creating a thermal barrier, we're creating a vapor barrier. We coat over everything so no moisture can get in. We're protecting the integrity of that ductwork. So we're saving the money and we're prolonging the life of the equipment. Again, with thermal block, listen, guys, you get a bucket of this. There's so many applications because I'm going to give you some other examples in a moment. But you got a bucket of this, you use it, you'll be absolutely blown away. So again, there's great profit for the affiliate, but for a contractor, a painter, an HVAC person, this is a game changer. Because if I go in the United States, 60% of all cooling are what we call DX package units. It's basically cooling, it's all the cooling in a big box that sits on your roof. If you coat that cabinet of that box, you're going to drop the energy consumption by about 15%. You coat the coil and the box, you maybe hit 20, 25%. It's pretty amazing. And all you're doing is coating it. It's not like you're buying expensive equipment, you're coating it. So, in doing that, you can dramatically reduce a customer's energy consumption. So, let me talk about a few other applications for thermal block that we're doing. We just did a project with the Army of the Philippines. You may think, what are we doing for the Army of the Philippines? Well, what we actually did was we took one of their trucks, they asked us, and we coated the cab of the truck because it was getting so hot that their air conditioning couldn't keep up. So they wanted to coat the cab, which we did week before last. We coated it with thermal block. They're going to let it cure. Then they're going to paint over it with their brown color that all their trucks are. They will lose a little bit in terms of the reflectivity because white reflects better than brown. But the key is what we call emissivity, the ability to reject invisible light and invisible heat. That's the key. And in doing that, we know already we're going to drop the internal temperature substantially. Now, that's going through testing at the moment. If that works, we will then get the contract for all the vehicles of the Philippines. I had another job that we're doing in Saudi Arabia. Every 6 kilometers, they have speed cameras. They're in a metal box, and in the summer, they stop working. Because if you hit 55C, no electronic can exist in that. In coating it with thermal block, we've just coated 2 of their boxes for testing. We will then drop that internal temperature. With electronics, if you go 10 degrees over 35, which is their prime temperature for operation, you're going to reduce the life expectancy of those electronics by 50%. So we're not just saving energy, we're extending the life of valuable equipment. We're also working with one of the large telecommunication companies in the Philippines to coat all their boxes that house their electronics, their fire suppression cabinets, and a bunch of other stuff. There are so many applications. Just prior to this call, I got a call from one of our people who represents our company. They were over in Kona here in the Big Island, and they were meeting with an ice manufacturing company, and they have these huge refrigerated trucks. They are now going to coat one of those trucks with our thermal block because that truck is using gas to create the cooling to keep the truck cool. If you can take that thermal load off, you're going to reduce their energy usage, their gas usage in this case. There are so many applications for this product. So let me just talk about why do customers like our products? You're going to reduce energy by 10 to 25. We have seen as high as 45, but we always say 10 to 25. It is the most effective solution for corrosion. I don't care what the metal structure is or what you're protecting. There is nothing better than what we have. It prevents any type of microbial contamination. We even have people who have used it in their bathroom on the grout to stop any mold from growing on the grout. Prevents condensation. Everywhere in the world we go, where you have chilled water or steam pipes, which are very common in larger buildings, I don't care how good the insulation is, you're going to start getting condensation on that insulation. By coating over the insulation with our thermal block, we eliminate condensation. And condensation is a killer in terms of corrosion and destroying pipes. Now, if you have to replace pipes, you have to shut down your whole operation. Not good. It is most effective and less expensive than insulation. We first went to Saudi Arabia. We met with a company called Al Shira. They manufactured ductwork. They thought we were idiots. They said, it's impossible. You can't do that. The scientific thing won't allow you to do it. So they had a run of ductwork with aluminum cladding and fiberglass insulation. They had a run beside it they hadn't worked on yet, feeding the same room. They put our thermal block on. We were 16% more effective in producing the cold air, and we were about 40% of the price. Game changer. It lowers energy costs when applied to a low-rise building to the roof, and it will extend the life of the roof. See, people think what causes deterioration in the roof is the rain and the wind. No, the biggest killer for any metal roof is expansion and contraction. So if you take that roof at 67 C in the Philippines, that temperature was 32. Well, at night in the Philippines, it doesn't drop very much. It's going to drop to maybe 27. Now you're going from 67 to 27, and the next day going back up. You put that stress on those seams on that metal roof, and you're going to have problems for sure. This will prolong the life of the roof. It's cost effective and it's a one-time solution. You do it once and you're done. It's not like replacing things every year. You do it once, you're done. And we give a 10-year warranty with the products. Now, as far as dealers are concerned, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of HVAC contractors in the United States. You want to know how many dealers we currently have? You can count them on the fingers of my two hands. Why? Because our focus has been on our coating center. Now we're part of Commonstead. What we want to do is spread the word about our products. Whenever people see our products, they're blown away. They find it hard to believe. But the opportunity is absolutely enormous here in the US, never mind anywhere else in the world. But why would a dealer want to become a dealer? It will set them apart from the competition. Just like what I was saying, if I'm a Daikin dealer as opposed to a Carrier, I'm going in, yeah, the equipment's all good and fine, and yeah, we can do this, we can do that. It boils down to price. But if I can show that I'm different, well, I'm going to save you energy. I'm going to prolong the life of your equipment. I'm going to prevent any type of bacteria, mold, mildew, anything like that. Suddenly, I've got a sales advantage that I didn't have before. For a manufacturer, it reduces warranty claims. Warranty claims are huge in the HVAC industry. If you can show a manufacturer that you can help them reduce their warranty claims, you're going to be their best friend. That's why we're so close to Daikin. Daikin came to us with that circuit board problem. We solved it. Came to us with another problem. They had these what are called VRV units in Phoenix, Arizona. They were west facing, and every afternoon at 3 o'clock, these things shut down. And they came to Russell, my partner, and said, hey, can you help us with your magic thermal thing? We said, yeah, just give us new cabinets. We'll coat them. Your problem will be solved. They said, well, this customer's a little fussy. They won't want your bright white. We said, no problem. Give us some of your Daikin tan. We'll paint over it once it cures. They sent off those panels. That was 6 years ago. They've not had one high temp failure. That customer was Microsoft, a customer you want to look after. It offers a 40% plus profit margin. Depends on your labor rate, but certainly at least 40%, could be as high as 60% profit margin for that contractor after labor and after product cost. That's a pretty nice profit margin for anybody. It's a very low cost to become a dealer. We're not selling a franchise at $250,000. They simply buy product, get training, and they're off to the races. It's the most effective and a cost effective and a one-time solution that comes with a 10-year warranty. And here's the beauty, guys. If you bring on a contractor, every time he orders product, you're making money. And once they get hooked on this product, it's a bit like getting hooked on drugs. You're not going to get off, or you find it very hard to get off, because once a customer experiences what this gives them, that customer is going to keep demanding it. So that contractor, once he's on board, he's not going to stop using the product. It's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And every time he's ordering product, you are making money. So you can make money by simply bringing on a contractor. You can make money by bringing on a project. Oh, someone says, "Oh, well, my uncle is the head administrator in this hospital." Well, talk to them about the product. If they're interested, then we will find a dealer in the area who can come and do the work. And guess what? Then you're making basically 50% of that retail, not just on the product that's being sold. So there's a huge opportunity here to bring on dealers, bring on projects, whatever you decide you're good at, you can do, and you can make money. So at this point, I'm going to stop and happy to answer any questions.
So I have a question. Can you give example in money wise if we recruit HVAC guy? So for example, like I just see thousands of HVAC calling them, setting appointments on the Zoom,
Mhm.
presenting your product. What can we expect? We're getting 6% of the product. This is my understanding. They find the
Yep,
customer, they winning the
yep.
commercial deals. What's the expectation? Like, it's a passive income actually. What's the
Yeah, passive
expectation per
income
month?
at at 6%. I mean, if if those guys are doing a volume of business, so you can take here, let me just go back, just take on call safe alone. If they were doing, we'll say they were doing 100 quarts a month. Well, you look at the unit price here, there's 50 unit price. Well, let's even take it at 50. There's what they are paying, and you're making 6% of that every single time they
So,
coat a unit. And you could have thousands of these people out there because they all have the same issue, competition. And if you are in, especially if you're in an area where there's an issue with corrosion, you are nuts if you don't coat that coil. You absolutely should coat it. So that's on the dealer side. You're making 6% of every product that they order.
okay, so
And
just want to give you example. I just want to kind of more talk. Let's just say I recruit medium-size HVAC company, and
Mhm.
I come with your video, and I present them your video, and I present Stuart, and I invite them to come on stage so I can invite them to this Zoom so they can ask you questions directly, and then I hook them on this, and they prefer so they can actually do 50 units per month. And I
Mhm.
supposed to make $5,000 commission each month passive income or $60,000 per year. Would it be correct to say?
No, no. If they're buying this product, right? And so their total here is what's this? So they're buying 50 units at
Yep.
9,000, 8,000, 8,500. You're getting 6% of that every time
Of
they order product. So
okay.
you're making roughly $500 every time they order product. You're making
And how
500
they can
bucks. That's
order
their
this
revenue.
like 50 buckets like every month, every week, every year.
Yeah. I mean, they might be ordering that I mean, in our coding center, 50 units wouldn't do us a week, you know? So, I mean, it can be big volume. Then you take the thermal block as well, because you've got CoilSafe Plus, and then you've got your thermal block. Again, with thermal block, they're ordering like on the unit. This is how many units here?
24,000.
Yeah. So again, you're talking about 6%. You're talking about big money. And thermal
And
block, if they're coding units and coding ductwork, they're going to go through that stuff like crazy.
would you say that it's how many buckets?
Well,
Uh,
it depends. It depends what they're doing, whether they're just coding units or coding ductwork. I mean, we have contractors like in the Philippines who would be using maybe 20, 30 bucks, 20, 30 buckets a month. So you take that, you're talking about good residual, but that's only one contractor. You could have 100 contractors. I mean, just if you take here in Hawaii, in terms of HVAC contractors, We have maybe several hundred HVAC contractors. And that's just here in Hawaii. You think about California, Texas, wherever, thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there. Huge
I'm just
opportunity.
looking for this. If it's 20, 35 buckets per month, if they're using 35 buckets per month,
Uh-huh.
the commission is
Yep.
1,500 $1,500
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
month. And
Correct.
if I can
Yeah.
recruit 10 of them, and this is just on the coding. And if I
Yeah.
recruit 10 of them, it's a $15,000 per month passive income for
Yep.
just introduction to Stuart and to Common Stat and to your videos. Correct?
Yep. Yep.
And
Because
can
Mhm.
is there any video that like you're explaining this, but I need to bring them to a common set? Is there any video that I can send them that can explaining each of the products because you kind of giving more presentation for us than
We
for
have there's now a bunch of videos that I have created that are now on the common stead. Why become a dealer? Thermal block, coil safe plus. There are so many videos that are on there. There must be about eight or nine, 10
is
videos
it on common stat?
on common stead. Yep.
Is
So
it like
those
on the trainings or where it is? Where is it?
it would be in their resources. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked recently because I've been so busy getting these videos done, but I can get back to you and I'll let you know. But
How easy to
they're
recruit
all
contractor? Because like this is like if I'm recruiting 10 dealers, I have passive income, generational passive income, and this is just level one. I can do also level two as well, 3%. How
yeah.
difficult is to recruit dealer? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Is it anybody tried in the organization?
Yeah, sure. We have dealers all over the world. I mean, I say we have not focused heavily on the US because we have our own coding center. So we're hugely busy just working with manufacturers. But what the reason for joining Commonstead so that people like you guys can go out and bring on all these dealers because once they see our product, they're going to get it. They're going to understand the opportunity, not only the opportunity to help their client, but the opportunity to make money, which is what motivates them. And this is a huge profit center.
And
If I'm out servicing HVAC, which they do, why would I not do coding at the same time? I've already paid for my mobilization. My people are there. To add on coding is like easy.
I'm from Israel, like it's a 10 million people in Israel, and I'm bringing American new product, American that nobody has. Thermal block is nobody has, and
Mm.
coil other has, but they you have a few distinctive qualities that separate you from others. And I
Hmm.
just recruit 10 people. I just can envision this as a possibility to do this.
Hmm.
Another
Yeah.
thing, the like on the regular jobs because I'm gonna go to like I live in apartment building and I start
Hmm.
talking apartment buildings for water saving, for electricity saving, and one of the questions I will say, if you have handler and if you have uh, this tube, metal tube, I forgot the name, ductwork,
Yeah.
uh,
Ductwork. Yeah.
we can save you significant 10-15% of the electricity if they locate it on the roofs by
Hmm.
putting reflective material, as well as my understanding, you can put this thermal, you can put it not just on the roof, not just on the metal roof, you can also put it on the flat roofs and it will make the same effect. Is it correct?
Hmm. Yeah, that's correct. And I mean, I just did a site survey last week on a large condo building, 43 story, 513 units. We are proposing the aqua valve for the water and waste. Their water and waste bill, water and sewage bill is $46,000 a month. Their electricity bill, $65,000 a month. This is just a common area. So we're proposing aquaflow for their water and sewage, optimizers for their pool, for their elevator motor, and for their breaker and their air conditioning. Then we're coating the air conditioning unit. They have a 60-ton aircon up on top of the roof. That complete package will save them a huge amount of money with an ROI of less than 12 months.
Congratulations. That's a nice score.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
and there's a load of them out there. Yep.
quick question. Can you go back to the coil safe price sheet
Hmm.
that you have, if you don't mind for a
Yeah,
second?
sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this is just is there this different from the coil safe and coil safe plus? There's two different sheets, I assume.
Yeah, so this is cause safe you're looking at. You'll see here, just remember this number 255, cause safe plus 285. So it's like about a $30 difference. Not a huge difference, but I mean, in terms of the application, what you're using it for, like for medical facilities, it's very, very important.
And that the first one, that's just 1 ounce or something, right? The
It's a 1 quart kit, so it's basically two parts of the product. So what you're really buying for that is this two parts, part A, part B. Whenever
okay.
you mix it, it's a 1 quart kit. Now, what will that 1 quart kit cover? A 1 quart kit will do a 10-ton air conditioning unit. That's a pretty big unit.
Oh,
But
okay.
in terms of surface area, if you're just using it for metal surface, it'll do about 250 square feet.
So that'll cover a couple homes. So that's an easy add-on 'cause that's not that much money.
Yep. No.
Um, and then the larger ones are for more industrial. Because it looks like the other ones are by the ounces. I was looking at the picture. It said by ounces.
No, well, I think it was, let's have a look. You mean on the pricing here?
Yeah, I was just comparing. It says 24 ounces.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's basically a 1 quart kit. That's what it is. Both of them, whether it's Call Safe or Call Safe Plus, they're both a two-part product
yeah,
that
no,
has.
I get that part. I was just trying to compare the. I'm looking at the Commonstead
Mhm,
site and at the prices there.
mhm.
And yeah, you know what it is on all of the pictures it says 24 ounces. That's so I think that's what's messing me up a little bit. So
Yeah.
but you sell it per unit. So this is so this one you get
Yeah.
10, that one you get 50 of the same
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now the pricing is about the same as it is on the common set. It's a little bit different, but about the same.
No, this is the same as Common Yeah, this is the
Okay.
Common
So
pricing.
here's a question I propose,
Mhm.
and it's not really often asked, and I'm only asking because it's just a small crowd here. Um,
Mhm.
so like I have a massive wealth of HVAC companies and
Mhm.
dealerships across the country. I haven't really done a massive reach out because what happens when one HVAC guy talks to the other HVAC guy and like they just go to the Commonstead because if you Google Commonstead you go to and they just pull up shop at Commonstead. They just go online. And like I can order one right now in 30 seconds without anybody's information or anything. So nothing stops anybody from doing that.
Okay, so what you need to do is, I just got this morning. So what you will need to do is register everyone that you send. And I haven't got it here now, but there's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
way to
yeah,
register
you could
everyone that you're
register. You could
sending
tell
to.
them, hey, go to the link. But what I'm saying is, let's just give an example. Say I'm at a trade show.
Hmm.
HVAC guy's talking to HVAC guy. He goes, hey, man, just go to the Commonstead. They don't. They just care about the product. They're not that concerned about my take on it. And then they just go, they Google Commonstead, shop comes up, there's the item, they order it, and then because there's nothing to protect this. There's no like who's the rep ID, there's no vendor ID number. You just go in, you buy it, you're out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I'll bring that up with Charles, but I think I know they were putting in a system where if you register someone and they buy, then it's automatically linked to
Yeah,
you.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. If they use that link, but
Right.
if
But you're saying if you're at a trade show and you happen to talk to Johnny and Johnny then thinks a week later, oh, I must check that out, and he goes and he buys,
yeah,
you're not, yeah, yeah.
or you can just
No,
punch
it's
it. You can just punch it into AI, and it'll go here you go,
yeah,
and it'll just send
yeah.
you straight to the shop link. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, AI makes everything. You don't even have to research Google anymore. You just go, where's the cheapest way to find it?
Yeah.
And then it'll
Yeah.
direct you right there. And people always feel like, even though they're not getting a different price, they're just mentally, they feel like they are when they're going direct, even though
Direct. Yeah.
they're not losing a dime
Yeah.
going through us. We know that,
Yeah.
but it's just human mentality. And I did actually, I brought it up with Charles. He hasn't had a chance. I'm sure he's busy as heck, and because I know I'm keeping him busy. So but it's something that I think it's just kind of a loose end that, that it can be tightened up pretty easily. With some web stuff, but just something I wanted to kind of raise since it's, like I said, it's a smaller crowd here. So
I would be interested to hear your thoughts on how to do that because I think overall that's a very good thing to do because I mean just on my side with some of the other products I would face the same issue because I have contractors all over the place that I deal with for other stuff. So yeah, I think if you have an idea, I would love to hear it actually.
Stuart,
By the way,
someone
all of you can email me, Stuart, Stuart, at coatzone.com. Any ideas or questions or anything, always feel free to email me. I'll always
HVAC
respond.
home show. Is it
Yeah.
effective? Did anyone try this? Because this guy came here actually took my, I mean, I had this idea also. If we go to the HVAC, like anybody try this? Because I just see that
We've
HVAC.
done yeah, we have done many shows. ASHRAE, all the local HVAC places. Not so much in the US. We normally go to the ASHRAE show, which my business partner was at, but some of the other international ones we've gone, and that's how we've ended up getting dealers at those expos, whether it be a building expo, an HVAC expo, a facility maintenance expo. All of those are good opportunities.
okay, yeah, I'll email
Okay,
you. I have a couple of ideas. I'll shoot
please.
them over to you.
That would be great.
Yeah, and all that trade show note. I don't know if you got my note last week. I've worked hundreds and hundreds of trade shows. So if you ever
Yeah,
need any free guidance there, I'm more than happy to to tell you what I know.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Any other
Uh,
questions, guys?
Nope, I'm
David,
good. Thank you.
I
Steve?
got
David,
one quick thing, Stuart.
Yeah, Stephen.
If you were to make phone calls today to HVAC companies around you, what would that first phone call sound like to you?
It's going to be asking them basically, would you be interested in generating additional revenue from your existing customer base and helping them save energy and locking them to you as the only ever contractor they'll want to go to? That's basically the message we're putting out. I can send you sample emails that we have sent out. Happy to do
Okay.
that. Drop me an email. I'll send you sample emails. Because once they realize what we have and how it can set them apart, they will go for it because it's not a lot of money. I mean, even guys, I'm going to tell you, I just had a quote for a customer for new air conditioning, right? These were th 2 3-ton units here in Hawaii. And the quote was like 15,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. $15,000, no, $18,000. So if that person includes our coding, it's only going to be maybe another $1,500. Well, if he's in competition with someone else, now he's got a great margin built in at that price. He throws in the coding, he will kill the competition.
Yeah, it's a
Kill the
bonus.
competition. Yeah. It's not like he's increasing his price by 50%. It's maybe 5% he's increasing by, but he's throwing in all of this. It's a huge advantage. Okay, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate the time. And as I say, feel free to email me. I'm always willing to respond.
David,
Next week, I was going to say
David,
next
David,
week.
can you leave your phone number? I want to kind of talk to you about home shows. If you can put it
Yeah,
in the chat, not today, I
yeah.
will call you tomorrow, if it's possible, please.
If
It's
you
okay.
would, if you drop me an email, I'll send you all my contact information, including my
No,
cell
no,
phone
no. There
number.
was a guy here, David. He asked you about home shows. I would kind of would be happy to talk to him. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
still.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll drop my email here in the chat right now.
Yeah, I
perfect.
will call you tomorrow probably, not to them. To have things to do today. Sorry for.
Okay. Hey guys, next week there won't be a training session because I'll actually be on a plane on my way to the Philippines. So I won't be able to do it. But after that, we'll resume as normal, but it'll be posted on Commonstead. No training next week.
All right, have a
Stuart,
safe trip.
Stuart, may I give you advice? I just want to give you advice. We have a
Hmm.
recruiting training to recruit new people to Common Stat. You kind of by dealer, you're actually doing the same thing as a recruiting people. You just recruiting dealer. It would be great idea if you talk to Charles Thompson because this is kind of coming as a even much more lucrative than recruiting people. I'm just kind of thinking of making number in my head, and they have a Friday recruiting like once per 2 or 4 weeks recruiting.
Yeah.
You just can bring it how recruit because the potential is such an I don't know how it's difficult or easy to do this, but recruitment it's my potential is much bigger. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. I will mention that. That's a good idea just to mention about specific recruitment of contractors, like HVAC contractors. I will do. Okay, I want to make sure you're able to get everything from the chat. I'm going to hang up here now. So I look forward to seeing you again, guys, in 2 weeks if you need to get back on. In the meantime, good hunting and let's get some dealers on board. Okay, thanks, guys.
Ciao.